Welcome. This practice is for anybody who would like to take a little time out of their day to connect to their breath and to their body and to create a bit more space inside. When we feel overwhelmed or anxious, we contract, and we contract physically, but we also contract mentally. And simply by stepping back, taking a deeper breath, and moving a bit, we're somehow able to connect to a more expansive perspective and to find a greater sense of ease. Peace exists in the present moment, and yoga is a helpful tool for returning us again and again into the present moment, where usually everything is okay. So if you happen to have a strap or anything strap like a piece of fishing rope would work fine, or you can improvise with a bathroom tie, great. A hand towel also will be great. This practice goes out, it's kind of a shout out to those of you in the island nursing home. You haven't met me probably, but I live right here on the island with you. And although you may not know me, you probably know my boyfriend, Kerry Oliver, or you knew his parents, Lawrence Jr. Oliver and Helen Oliver. So I hope you enjoy it. So make your way onto a chair, sitting right at the edge of the chair, and just making sure that your knees aren't higher than your hips so that you can sit upright. And think about those beautiful kites that children fly in the sky, a diamond-shaped one, and you really want to lift and lengthen the vertical axis of your kite and spread also the horizontal axis of the kite so that you have plenty of room to receive the breath. Turn the palms up and bring them back mid-thigh or a little closer to the hips so they're not pulling your shoulders forward. And then right away, go ahead and close your eyes. Tune down the dial on the outer world. Tune up the dial on the inner world, and just notice what you're starting with here. Let your shoulders soften down away from your ears. No strain in the breath, just letting the body breathe you. Just simply noticing the breath. Witnessing that you have a body that breathes. And then the skin between your eyebrows. Let it soften and let that send a ripple of relaxation across your forehead out to the temples. That ripple of relaxation cascading along the bridge of the nose, across the cheeks, so that the skin of the face becomes very soft, the skin around the eyes relaxed, jaw slack, all the tiny little muscles around the mouth becoming very relaxed, tongue softly resting in the mouth, and the gums, even the teeth, relax. And as if the entire scalp was just letting out a big sigh, let your scalp release. Ears, earlobes, backs of the ears, the throat, all becoming ever so soft, so that the entire face and head opens, breathes. Every pore of your skin breathing. And keeping your lips as soft as you can, bring your awareness right into the center of your chest. This is the place in yoga that we think of as the spiritual heart, and the place of our deepest intelligence, and a very helpful place for connecting to the heart is at the top of your in-breath. So without changing your breath in any particular way, just notice what you feel there in the center of your chest. How does it feel in there today? Is it tight? Constricted? Is it free? Sleepy? Wired? Electric? Warm? Cold? Just noticing what you feel without needing to analyze or comment on what you feel, but simply noticing at the level of sensation, physical sensation, what you feel in the center of your chest. Great job. Go ahead and open up your eyes, and let's make some circles with the shoulders, up and back. If any cobwebs crept in there while you've been sitting, or maybe you're just getting up while you're sleeping, just working them out. Movement helps to lubricate our joints and our tissues. So just inviting the fluid health in the shoulders here. Great job. Bring your arms alongside you, and on your inhale, reach the arms out and up. They can come to shoulder width or fingers to touch, and then exhale, bring the arms back down. Like the wings of a great bird, really spread through the arms as you reach the arms out and up, and exhale as you return. And again, inhaling and exhaling. Wonderful. And then take your left arm and just draw the right arm across the body. Sit up tall. Keep lifting your upper chest. You may feel a gentle stretch through the back of the left shoulder. If you are somebody who practices yoga regularly and you have eagle arms, go for it. And then switch. You'll bring your left arm across the body. Hook it with your right elbow and find a stretch. And your whole body's going to want to turn now to your right, but see if you can resist that. And breathe. Wonderful. Arms alongside you. Lift the crown of the head and take the chin just slightly back. It's kind of that sort of Egyptian head move. But sometimes our head is just way forward of our spine. See if you can stack everything up and look to the right. Come back through center and look to the left. Come back through center. Gently tuck the chin towards your chest, lengthening through the back of the neck. And then gently open the throat. Be very easy with this one. And coming back through center, right ear towards the right shoulder, letting both shoulders get heavy so that you create maximum space from the left shoulder through the left ear. And then come back through center, and same thing on the other side. Come back through center, grab a hold of your strap, and give yourself a really generous length of fabric. Your arms are straight, and you're going to pull on the strap to create some tension in it. Keep the arms straight, keep the tension on the strap, and reach the arms up overhead. Try to rip the strap apart and just take the hands back, not too far. There's a place where they would click and come all the way over, and you want to stay above that place. And you're pulling on the strap and inviting a chest through your stretch, which you may feel sort of in there, in the armpit area. And breathe. And if your neck is feeling tense, again, it's that movement of bringing the head back, base of the skull back, and craning it slightly upwards. Chin just at sort of the bottom of a gentle nod. And then release. Now, if that was so easy that you were getting bored, give yourself some more fabric. If you felt like give yourself less fabric. And if you felt like you couldn't really breathe, then give yourself more fabric. We're trying to release tension, not create it. So again, tension on the strap, arms straight, shoulder blades descending down away from the ears. Reach the arms up, try to rip the strap apart. So the arms are behind me, but I'm not popping my ribs out like a proud bird. I'm keeping the ribs in and truly bringing the stretch into my shoulders, lightly just tucking my chin and keeping the back of the neck long. And then feel free to go a little from side to side here, finding whatever feels good to you. I love making little circles here with my rib cage. Never doing anything that hurts. Nothing should be painful, and if it is, please come out of it immediately. Great. And then we'll set the strap aside, and come on, I'm going to move the camera so I can show you the next exercise we're doing is for your ankles. And this is a very amateur effort on my part, so bear with me here. This is where your towel may come in handy. So your feet will be hip width apart. And on your inhale, lift the heels up off the floor. And on your exhale, lift the toes up off the floor. So you're rolling onto the toes and back onto the heels. And try to create pretty good through lines so that you're not rolling to the edges of the feet or the outer or inner edges. You're just really staying in that forward, backward plane. Doing a few more of those. Great. And then take your feet wider for this one, and you'll roll to the outer edges of your feet and to the inner edges of the feet. If this causes any pain for you, please skip it. But inverting and everting the ankles here. Wonderful. Creating this from the ankle as much as you can rather than simply moving from the hips. So you're lifting the outer edges of the feet towards the knee, and you're lifting the inner edges of the feet towards the knee. This next one's my favorite. You'll place your little hand towel down, and you'll take your feet onto the hand towel, and you'll turn your toes in, heels out, and you'll spin the heels out, heels in, toes out. Great. So your little pigeon-toed feet, and then your sort of Charlie Chaplin feet. I think this one feels so good. Great. So we'll set that aside, and now you'll come up to stand. And again, you'll have to bear with me here while I stand in such a way that you can see me. You're going to stand to the right of your chair, nice and tall. We call this one mountain pose in yoga. And you'll step your left foot onto the chair, and you'll turn your left toes out. And the key to this is having the knee and those middle toes pointing in the same direction. Now the torso is going to want to turn with you towards your left knee, but you're not going to let that happen. You're going to keep everything else just like it was in the mountain pose, except your left leg has turned out. This is a variation of tree pose. And you'll place the back of your left hand just inside the inner knee, and you can use that to remind yourself to stay facing straight forward. Push down into your right heel, reach your right arm up and get as tall as you can from right heel through all the fingertips, and then find a side bend to your left. Many of us don't do much side bending in the course of a regular day, and it has this hugely revitalizing effect on our energy, I think, when we do side bend. And you may be feeling that right now, especially as you breathe. Resist the temptation for the chest to collapse and the head to turn to the floor, and be as open as you can. All your side gills here. Lots of breath. Terrific. And we'll come over to the other side, standing this time to the left of your chair, stepping your right foot onto the chair, and everything in that mountain pose Tadasana shape, except you've stepped your right foot onto the chair. Take the back of your right hand inside the knee and reach your left arm straight up and push down into the left heel to get even taller, and then side bend to your right, lifting the waist up off the hip and each rib off the one beneath it. And take voluminous breaths here so that you stretch those little muscles of the rib cage from the inside out, just through the movement of your breath. Wonderful. And release. Okay, so now you'll stand behind your chair, and you can rest your hands just right on the chair for support. Little bend in your knees, and you're simply going to make some circles out of the right hip. And these could be really tiny, or they could be really big. Just make sure you're not rounding in the spine as you do this. Switching directions. Great. And then we'll switch sides. Just big circles out of your left hip. And then switching sides. Great. And now we'll come back to where we started, sitting at the edge of our chair. Hi. Okay. So cactus the arms here and reach broadly across the elbows so the chest is wide, but also the upper back is wide. Cinch in around the entire waist and begin to twist a little from side to side. You can close the eyes if that helps you stay more inwardly focused. But notice what you feel here. If the arms get tired, you could bring the elbows down a little lower than the shoulders. You could turn the hands like this, but just inviting some warmth into the upper back. and relax. And we'll do some spinal flexes, so bringing your hands to your knees. On your inhale, come into a little back bend, chest comes forward, and on your exhale, you'll round the upper back. So you're inhaling, arching the spine, and then exhale, rounding the spine. Couple more of those. Good. And then you'll grab your hand towel, or I suppose you could use the strap for this, but I sometimes think the hand towel feels nice, so I've just rolled it up. And I'm going to place it in the back of my right knee. And I'm going to lift the right knee into my chest. Notice that I'm not collapsing back in a heap. I'm sitting up straight and just drawing the knee in as close as I can while maintaining this really upright posture. So go ahead and find that, and you're pulling up on the towel there, and then you'll straighten the leg a little or a lot. That's about as far as I could go before my spine starts to round. And then release, and we'll switch sides. So you'll hug your left knee in towards the chest, lift the chest, and then straighten the leg. Don't worry about how straight your leg gets. Just focus on how tall you can maintain your posture. Wonderful. And release. Take your right ankle onto your left knee and keep this foot really active. And this may be plenty of a stretch for you. Some of you will fold forward. Today though, actually let's do a little variation. So we'll turn so that our belly button is lining up with the inner arch of that foot. You'll lift up really tall, and then you'll fold in that direction. Just sort of tugging on those deep hip muscles from a different angle. Always helpful to mix up our movements. And some of you, and I don't think there'll be many of us that want to do this, but you could even slide your arm down, and if you happen to have really open hips, this can feel quite nice, creating some resistance between the elbow and the arch of the foot. Good. Come on back, and we'll take the second side. Sitting up tall, not letting the foot coming into that ankle sprain position, but keeping it really active like you were standing on it. And then turning so your belly button lines up with the inner arch of the foot and folding towards it, leading with the heart, not the head. And if you took it on the first side, maybe you're sliding the left arm down and just turning to your right. Okay, great job. And come on up. The last one we'll do here is you'll want to sit right at the very edge of your chair and take your hands to the back of the chair with the fingers pointing up behind you. And if you have a pretty open chest, your pinky fingers might be touching, or you might be all the way at the edges of the chair, that's fine. But now lift the chest and fill it up with your breath. And you may feel this in that very sort of dense fascia in the inner elbow that can get a little bit congested. But just breathing here and opening up through the chest and through the inseams of the arms, liberating your breath. Good job. Release and come back to where you started. Okay. So we'll close with a brief pranayama exercise and a brief meditation. So heart lifted, hands alongside you. If you're at home and you want to lie down, go for it. And begin to consciously participate in your breath, allowing your inhale to fill your belly, the sides of your waist, maybe you even sense the low back expanding. And exhale, the waist narrows, the belly hugs back into the spine. Breathing in, belly fills up like a balloon. And exhale, it draws back towards the midline. And now start to make the breath a little bit bigger so that as you inhale, you feel a little movement in the lower ribs, and you could even just take your hands there or just keep them on your lap. Don't struggle or strain, but just inviting a more generous inhale. We're going to take a pranayama called Viloma 1, which literally means against the grain. It sort of refers to the way, well, anyways, we're going to divide the inhale into 3 parts. We'll pause at the top just to feel the fullness of the in-breath, and then we'll empty all the breath out. If this doesn't work for you, don't worry. Just breathe in whatever way feels comfortable. But if you'd like to try this, let's sync up our breath together by taking a deep breath in and a full breath out. Inhale just a third of the way, a little sip of air, pause. Another third of the way, pause. All the breath in, pause at the top, feel the fullness there, and empty all of the breath out. Take an easy breath in, and an easy breath out. Breathe in a third of the way, little sip of air, pause. Another third of the way, pause. Breathing in all the way to the top, pause, keep the neck soft, shoulders relax, and empty all of the breath out. Smooth breath in. Smooth breath out. Breathe in a third of the way, pause. Another third of the way, pause. All the way to the top, feel the fullness of the breath. And empty all of the breath out. Relax any conscious control of the breath now. And just let the body breathe you. And if you repeat this video and you feel comfortable, you can lengthen out the breath. But I'm assuming those of you who are practicing for the first time may not be familiar with breathing like that, so we kept it pretty, the breath pretty modest. And now picture an old-fashioned hourglass. It was used to mark time. And turn your hourglass upside down so that the globe of your head empties grain by grain into the globe of the heart. Allowing the head to become empty of worry, of thought, and dropping down, tapping into the tremendous inner resource we all have in the space of the heart. Just feeling the head getting lighter and lighter. And dropping into the unfathomable depths and capacity of your heart to witness all things, to abide all things, to know comfort and peace. Thank you for practicing with me today. Hands together in prayer. I bow to you. Namaste.